Alex Ramos, 123. Alex Ramos, 123. You good?
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Microphone tests. Line level, line level. If you come out of the monument. Guys, 2 minutes. 2 minutes. All right, I think she's coming out now, guys.
I'll do this, I guess. I don't know. You tell me, guys. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. In the early hours of June 24th, as you will all remember, Miami-Dade fire rescue teams arrived at the Champlain Tower South to respond to the site of an unthinkable tragedy and what would become the largest non-hurricane related emergency response in the history of our state. And in the 33 days since, first responders from across Miami-Dade, the state, the country, and the world have worked tirelessly to recover victims from the collapse and to bring closure to the families and the loved ones of those we lost. Today, I can report that because of these sustained heroic efforts, the last remaining missing person has now been accounted for and identified, and the family notified. 98 victims have now been identified, including 97 victims who were recovered from the collapse and one person who passed away in the hospital. 98 families have been notified. All 97 people for whom we had missing persons reports have been recovered, and a total of 242 people are accounted for. Although we have identified all of the victims that were reported missing, the Miami-Dade Police Department continues the ongoing search and recovery effort on the evidentiary pile to ensure that all identifiable human remains are recovered. Nothing we can say or do will bring back these 98 angels who left behind grieving families, beloved friends, loved ones across this community and across the world. But we have done everything possible to bring closure to the families, and I am especially proud that through these tireless efforts, we were able at last to bring closure to all those who reported missing loved ones. Our community and the world are deeply grateful to the first responders, especially the men and women of the Miami-Dade Fire Rescue Department, Miami-Dade Police Department, and all the local fire departments who are an integral part of this operation, and also our national and international partners. And for the past 33 days, they have searched the rubble as if they were searching for one of their own. Even now, teams from Miami-Dade Police Department are continuing to sift through millions of pounds of debris, carefully and meticulously searching for remains and for any personal items that will help bring closure to the families. I also want to thank the incredible leadership that has helped drive this operation since the beginning. Miami-Dade Fire Rescue Director Alan Kaminsky, Assistant Director Ray Jadala, and Miami-Dade Police Director Freddie Ramirez. Chief Public Safety Officer J.D. Patterson and Emergency Management Director Frank Rollison and Division Director Charles Cyril. And the entire community, the county, the state, and federal leaders who stood with us from the very beginning. This tragedy at Surfside will be something that lives with all of us forever. And Surfside, a tragedy that befell one small, close-knit community, but that knit together all of us, so many lives, and offers a powerful and lasting reminder of how deeply connected we truly are in the best of times and in the worst of times. It's also my hope that through this tragedy, the bonds we've built will grow stronger, just as the stories of all of those whose lives were taken too soon will never be forgotten. Through this disaster, this community showed the world who we are. We showed through the countless private businesses that sprang into action to donate meals and more week after week, and through the actions of young children who brought food and cards of thanks to the first responders, and especially through the ceaseless efforts of those first responders and every public servant who stepped up to support the families that were impacted with great care and compassion. We saw an overwhelming outpouring of generosity and of love from people around the world who shared their time, their treasure, and prayers with us for this last month. We've seen the very best of our collective humanity in the worst of times. So please, once again, join me in praying for all of the families mourning loved ones and for our community of Surfside. Together, I pray we can begin the long process of healing and begin to find light in the darkness. God bless. En la madrugada del día 24 de junio, los equipos de bomberos de Miami-Dade llegaron a Champlain Towers South para responder a una tragedia impensable. Fue la respuesta de emergencia más grande en nuestra historia, no relacionada con un huracán. Durante 33 días, los socorristas de Miami-Dade, la Florida, el país y el mundo han trabajado sin descanso para recuperar a las víctimas del colapso y brindar un cierre a sus familias y seres queridos. Hoy les informo que hemos identificado y contado a la última persona desaparecida y hemos informado a su familia. Al día de hoy hemos identificado 98 víctimas, incluidas 97 víctimas recuperadas del colapso y una persona que falleció en el hospital, y se notificó a 98 familias. Las 97 personas de las que teníamos informes de personas desaparecidas han sido recuperados. El Departamento de Policía de Miami-Dade continúa el esfuerzo de búsqueda y recuperación en la pila para garantizar que se recuperan todos los restos humanos identificables. Nada de lo que podamos decir o hacer puede traer de vuelta a estos 98 ángeles que dejaron atrás a familias, amigos y seres queridos en esta comunidad y en todo el mundo. Pero hemos hecho todo lo posible para apoyarlos y me enorgullece que podamos darles cierre a todas las familias que esperaban respuesta de sus seres queridos desaparecidos. Estamos muy agradecidos con todos los socorristas. Por 33 días buscaron entre los escombros como si buscaran a sus familias. La tragedia en Surfside vivirá con todos nosotros para siempre y nos recordó cuán conectados estamos realmente. Tengo fe en que mantendremos estos lazos para siempre y que nunca olvidaremos las vidas que fueron tomadas demasiado pronto. Oremos por todas las familias que están de luto, por sus seres queridos y por nuestra comunidad de Surfside. Juntos oremos para que podamos comenzar a sanar y encontrar luz en la oscuridad. Gracias.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And I welcome to the podium translator, Haitian translator, Leonel Letterboard.
Bonsoir tout le monde. Bonne en journée 24 juin, pompiers Miami-Dade se présenté sur place dans Champlain South face à gros désastre que nous avons fait face sur ça. 33 jours plus tard, pompiers Miami-Dade, État Floride, pays, monde là, travaillent ensemble pour mettre en fin à tout effort que nous faisons pour recherche. Je dis nous sommes capables de rapporter que nous arrivons à identifier les dernières victimes. Là. Nous identifions 98 victimes, 97 nous retirons dans des combio et puis Gayon qui mourit à l'hôpital. Nous sommes capables de dire que nous confirmons qu'il y a 242 personnes que nous confirmons que nous avons trouvés et nous sommes arrivés à identifier tout le monde que nous n'avons pas jamais trouvé, que nous n'avons pas reconnaître que nous avons trouvé avant. Pas rien que nous sommes capables de dire ou bien faire pour nous faire moun sa yo retourner 98 ans sa yo qui quittent famille, amis avec moun que remet derrière. Nous fiers en pile de efforts que toute équipe nous a fait et nous sentons très reconnaissants envers le premier secouriste qui fait tout ça que nous sommes capables. Département de la police, département pompier dans Miami-Dade a fait un pile effort qu'on y a pour chercher dans des millions de débris qui ont été retirés sous place pour rejoindre objet personnel mon yo quitté derrière. Tragédie Surfside là a été une grosse tragédie qui marquait nous toutes. Et tragédie ça capable de souder nous ensemble pour nous capables de reprendre force plus loin. Il permet tout que nous sommes capables de découvrir ce qui est meilleur dans une grande tragédie humaine. Ce que nous sommes capables de faire, c'est prier pour nous capables de guérir tout le monde qui arrive dans une situation qui a été cœur brisé et nous allons continuer à travailler ensemble pour être capables de retrouver force que nous avons besoin. Que bon Dieu bénisse nous toutes.
Thank you, Mr. Larrabur. We're going to open it up for questions and answers. And again, please raise your hand and then identify who your question is to. Sir?
Joel Waldman, CBS4 for the mayor. Just want to know, personally, having been at the site for all those days and now getting word, I spoke to Ike Daya Friday night. His family was very grateful to you and the first responders. Personally, what it means to you to be able to put a name to that last person.
It really means the world to be able to have closure for all of those who were seeking their loved ones. I'm so very grateful for the tremendous work here that was done to make sure that every family could have that closure.
Anyone who could speak to the process ahead as far as the personal items that are being recovered, as the investigation continues, will the families be able to receive these items shortly after they're found or not? How long will they have to wait?
Yes, that's, first I'd like to commend not only the fire department, but the officers that are out there right now on the evidence site who are searching by hand, our rabbis as well, for the religious items that we're finding. Currently, we're now cataloging and impounding all the belongings, those from where the collapse actually happened, and then the secondary one, which was the surviving building that was later taken down. There'll be a process in place, obviously, for the surviving, for the deceased. There will be a legal process for that for the families. And on the site where the where the building was taken down, that'll be worked out also as well in returning the items that we get. We're still looking, and we hope to return as much items as we can to bring closure to the families. And we feel that that's very important, and our officers on the scene are taking it very serious. Yes, and forms are being filled out, and we have a database for the families that they're putting in, and our rabbis here and other clergy are assisting as well with some of the religious, items that are there that have names and things like that. We're collating them, and hopefully as soon as possible we'll be able to start that process.
I would just like to add that I had the opportunity to visit the site where the items are now being searched, and the men and women who are doing that work volunteered to do that work. They are working hours upon hours in the sun, in the rain, and when they find something, it's a treasure. They are doing this with tremendous care and real hope that they can bring things to the family members. It's a very moving sight.
If the rabbi could just talk for a second about, for the Jewish families, about the process. I understand that all the remains have to be collected. In case of Ike Daya's sister, what if other remains are found a few days from now, let's say?
So that's a very common question that most people have. Biblically and halachically speaking, once the family makes a decision to go on with the funeral and the burial and the shiva process, it is up to the family to make that decision. Mark Rosenberg, and chaplain with Miami-Dade Police Department and director of CSC, Chesed Shalemus. Thank you.
But you found the 98th victim. You had 98 missing persons reported.
97, 98, yeah, yes.
So what can we say about this concludes the search for victims?
No, not at all. We're still doing secondary searches at the evidence recovery site, and we're going to keep going until we're done. We're not stopping. We're still looking. We have several piles that we're going through, and like I said, a lot of the work is being done by hand.
About 2 weeks ago, you said that there were 5 or 6 people that were unaccounted for but did not open missing persons cases for.
Right.
They didn't have the family didn't report them missing. What happened to those people? Have they been eliminated?
Yes, they've been ruled out. Our detectives did background. We weren't able to identify them as a credible cause of missing person. We focused on the 97 families that called in identifying their family member as missing, plus the one that passed away in the hospital.
So Miami-Dade County is no longer searching for anything.
We're not ruling anything out. As we're recovering human remains, our ME will continue to process them. But as what we know that has been documented and reported, we've reached the 98, but that does not mean that we're not done. We're still working the evidence piles, and we'll continue until we deem that we've done everything we can.
I just wanted to hear what your greatest takeaway is from this tragedy, this being one of your greatest obstacles at the beginning of your career as mayor.
Well, certainly the biggest takeaway is that buildings should not fall down. So that is obviously something quite unacceptable, and we are going to do everything in our power to make sure it does not happen. But the other takeaway is that communities can really come together and do everything in their power to address the needs of the people affected, and to do it with just selflessness and tremendous dedication, really no barriers. Everything that could have been done has been done locally and across the world.
I'm not sure you might be able to answer the question, but on the last victim, was it a DNA sample issue, or was something found on the secondary search site? Is there any more that you can explain on that?
Yes, on July 20th, that a human remain was found at the secondary site, which lends to our point why we're continuing to search. And from July 20th till today, the ME's office has been analyzing that human remain, and they were able to identify our final victim and bring closure. But just because we identified her and we were able to do that, we're still not done. We're doing a secondary sweep of the evidence site for hopes that if we find anything else, until we deem that we can do no more.
Did you find any other remains at the secondary site?
Yes. No, we found human remains in the secondary site.
Thank you, folks. I appreciate your help.
Motion is one.